Okay, so the FC in Forrester Creations now stands for Fight Club. Hey y'all, hey. My name is Toya Creates and welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we are going to do a deep dive on the bold and the beautiful. So today is Monday, April 13th. So let's get into the episode. So we first saw Brooke coming into Katie's office space yet again. So Katie is in the middle of reviewing the designs that Eric was hired, he was paid for, and he executed these designs under the Logan umbrella. So for those of you who may not be caught up to date, Brooke and Ridge basically retired Eric. More so Ridge than Brooke, but anything Ridge says, she's going to go along with. So Ridge decided that Eric's health was too poor for him to continue to be a full-time designer at the company that he created, and so he retired him. Eric did not like that, but he was not truthful about it. And so he decided to be petty. And once Bill purchased a fashion house for Katie as a wedding present, Eric took it upon himself to go to Katie and Brooke and to say, I will help you with these designs. And, we're going to stand at the end of the runway, hands held high after we do this together. And Brooke and Ridge are going to learn a lesson about how to treat older people, only for Eric to then flip the script after the fact because Ridge apologized for the umpteenth time to Eric. And at this point, he decided he wanted to accept the apology. So everything that he agreed to for, Katie and Bill, oh, out the window, I'm running back to my company. Oh, okay. But the work you did is still technically Logan. So, Brooke, Ridge, Katie, Bill, and Eric here and there have been going back and forth about these designs that Eric did create under the Logan brand, and everyone's questioning. Well, Brooke and Ridge maintain that these are Eric's designs, and Katie and Bill are being, um, ugh, what do you say, malicious, or they have ill intent and they're taking advantage of Eric, which is preposterous. Because again, this grown man who is of sound mind asked for this position, volunteered to do it, and did the work. So, whatever. So, back to today. Brooke has taken it upon herself to grace Logan with her presence as Katie is going through the designs and just going through the line. So Brooke, of course, is there to berate and chastise her baby sister who used to be so sweet and this and that. Yeah. When Katie was allowing Brooke to run all over her, take her man, get pregnant by her man, marry her man, Brooke was fine. But now that Katie has decided that she's done with that, Brooke has a problem. So let me look at my little notes here. So Brooke told Katie, number one, that she was a thief. I don't know why Brooke is like, I just don't get it. Brooke and Ridge have been in business for decades at this point. This situation with Eric and these designs, in my humble opinion, is business 101. The man asked for a job, he got the job. He did the job. And then he wanted to renege. Oh, well, the designs belong to Logan. I don't care what anyone says. So, Brooke is saying, I can't believe that you're still doing this, Katie. You're really going through with it. And Eric is at home depressed. Boo freaking who. And she says that Katie owes Eric an apology. You know what? Katie was like, I'm the one who got hung out to dry. Eric told me, and he promised me, we're going to do this line. We're going to hold hands at the end, held high, and we're going to do this together just to flip the script. And if anyone is owed an apology, it is me. And I agree with Katie. Of course, Brooke is like, I don't know what's wrong with you. You're being influenced by your husband. It's everybody else's fault, or like Katie just cannot make a decision for herself. I mean, this is so disrespectful, and she is so condescending to Katie. It is ridiculous, but whatever. Katie clocked her real good. Katie knows her better than anybody. She's one of the Logan sisters, so she knows what she's dealing with. So Katie is just checking Brooke as she should. She's like, basically, you are fine if I'm this pushover, but now that I've found my voice, you don't like it. And she likes the woman that she has become now. Bill is not a bad influence. Eric did this to himself. We own these designs. He left me out to dry. What was I supposed to do? And I agree. And Katie told Brooke, don't get it twisted, that Brooke is not going to shame her into giving up her fashion line. And I 1,000,000% agree. Brooke has some nerve. Now, I can typically handle the destiny of it all, but when they act like this, I do not like, no bueno. I am not here for it. So I truly hope that Katie is super successful, becomes like the biggest rival to Forrester Creations, because Brooke and Ridge and Eric deserve it at this point. So I am fully invested in that. I can't wait to see. Oh. And Brooke was saying, like, well, who are you going to get to design next? Like, who are you going to steal from next? Katie, Katie needs to ban Brooke from the Spencer offices, just like Steffi had Sheila banned from the hospital last week, but that's a whole other story. So then the next scene that we saw was Daphne walking in on Ivy, who's working on some jewelry per usual. And Daphne, let me give you a little context here. So Daphne is the Parisian woman who Steffi originally called into Forrester Creations to basically break up Hope and Carter when they did the hostile takeover, I think, last year. And Daphne is also this world-renowned perfume, what do you call it? Connoisseur or sommelier? I don't know what you call it, but she's a world-renowned perfume creator, and she's really good at her job. So she stayed on. She and Carter just got married a couple of weeks ago, and they're trying for a baby. So that's great. So Daphne overheard Ivy. Oh no, I'm sorry. Daphne saw Ivy take the letter that Electra had written for Will, because this letter was just expressing all of her emotions, and she just knew that Will would see it and then they would get back together, which we're going to talk about a little bit later. But these babies in these relationships, I can't. Whatever happened to good one-on-one communication, face-to-face, direct? But whatever. She wrote this letter spilling her guts, and Ivy tampered with the letter in that she took it from the desk, hid it in her jacket, and made it seem like Will was done with Electra and didn't even have the decency to respond to her letter. So this has caused a huge ripple effect in Will, Electra's, Dylan's, and RJ's life, and it's causing a ruckus at Forrester Creations, but whatever. So we saw Daphne confronting Ivy again about this manipulation, and she's telling Ivy what she's doing is not right, and Will and Electra would be together had it not been for Ivy. But Ivy is still, oh, it's not proper. It's not proper. I'm so tired of hearing about what's not proper from this hypocrite. Because if you really think manipulating your niece is proper, I don't know what to tell you. So Daphne is like really out of sorts with this. She is telling Ivy she needs to say something, or I feel like Daphne's about to say something. Meanwhile, Ivy is just like, you better not say anything, and you're just gonna sit back silent and clap once RJ and Electra are together. Whatever, because Ivy is making me sick. I don't remember Ivy having this disgusting, cringy energy back in the day. She was sweet. She was being pushed into a river by Quinn. She was in love with Liam. You know, she didn't have all of this energy, and I just don't like this. But anyways, that's what's going on with that. So then the next scene that we see, and before I get into it, let me just say thanks again for watching. If you like more content like this, please like, follow, comment, and subscribe for more. I plan on doing these every day in addition to my quick little 3 minute or less drama while I design, which is a brief little recap of the entire episode. So I digress. So the next scene that we saw was Will and RJ. So Will is the son of Dollar Bill Spencer, who owns a huge publications firm, and he is probably Ridge's number one op. They hate each other. They have competed for Brooke in the past, but who hasn't he competed with for Brooke? Anyways, so whatever. So Will is also the son of Bill and Katie, which also makes him Brooke's nephew. So RJ is the son of Brooke and Ridge, and so RJ and Will are blood cousins. Okay, so RJ is the Prince of Forrester Creations. All of a sudden, he had been gone for a while after the whole Luna blow up last year, and now he's back. He's back. He's brunette. He looks like Maroney. Okay, whatever. So RJ has fallen for Electra. Now, Electra and RJ are basically cousins in my mind. They have the same last name. She calls Eric her great uncle, I believe, and RJ calls Eric his grandfather. Now, they are not blood related because Ridge is technically not biologically Eric's son, but I don't care. This is disgusting. I digress once again. So Will walks into the office and RJ is there sketching. He's following in the footsteps of his father and grandfather. Okay, so RJ has a little stick up his patootie because he's fallen for Electra, like I said, and in his mind, Will is not a good guy. He is he is another Bill Spencer. He can't be trusted, and he's treating Electra poorly because Will has taken in Dylan to live in his home. She's supposed to be staying over the garage in his beach house. Now, Dylan is the former best friend of Electra, and when she first started living with Will, Electra suggested it, and they were all in. But things took a turn a couple of weeks ago, and Ivy was blackmailing Dylan to leave town because in her mind, Dylan and Will crossed the line and Dylan can't be trusted, and that's why Will is not good enough for her precious niece Electra. But anyways, Will has come into the office. RJ is there sketching, and RJ immediately tells Will, like, why are you still here? Get out. Have some class and leave. Blah, blah, blah. You're no better than your dad. You're going to stop hurting Electra. All of these things. I mean, Will had just crossed the threshold. He didn't even say good morning. RJ started this. And Will probably has, first of all, Will is a young adult. These are all young adults. They don't have the restraint that an older adult would have. And Will strikes me as someone who probably has a slight anger issue. He's already shown himself not to be a good communicator whatsoever. And the baby is not good with his emotions. So RJ said one too many insults to Will, and Will was like, "What? I didn't hear you." And they start hustling, and I mean shoving each other. It's almost fisticuffs. I said, "Where is Charlie today? Where is the security?" Luckily, Carter comes in right in the nick of time, and he breaks up this fight, and he tells them, "This is not how we behave." And I agree. He was like, "You guys need to check your relationships and your issues, your drama. Check it at the door. This is not what we do in here." And RJ should know better. Mr. Prince of Forrester Creations, Mr. He Can't Do Any Wrong. This is how you conduct yourself. Will as well. Like, you've been there. First of all, if I was Will, here's a hot take for you. If I was Will, I would have been left Forrester Creations. Dealing with this. A couple of weeks ago, RJ was still on Will trying to get his daddy Ridge to fire Will for what? He didn't do anything. Nothing that's your business or nothing that impacts work until today, since now y'all want to fight. But anyways, I'm sick of the hypocrisy that comes out of the Forrester family. I am Team Spencer. If I was Will, I would go work with my daddy and my mama. I'm not going to be your little stinking intern or whatever. I'm not going to have this position. And you calling me a liar? And you trying to fire me? No. Okay. And you trying to steal my woman? No. I would be over at Logan so fast. But whatever. If you like it, I love it, Will. If you like torturing yourself with this situation, whatever. So these two got into this little tussle, and there were no ramifications, no consequences. Carter was like, "Just break it up. This is not what we do," and basically separate. This is okay. It's only going to be a matter of time before they're fighting again. But okay, Forrester Creations. I'm sure worse has happened in the building. So then next, after the tussle, RJ is walking, through the office, and he happens to pass by Ivy's office, and she's like, "Oh, Jay, come in. Oh, she just wants to make sure that her manipulations are going to plan." So she was like, "I just want to make sure that you and Electra are getting along and things are progressing." And RJ's like, "Yeah, everything's going fine. He feels that she likes him and he definitely likes her. And they have had some, voluntary kisses." And okay, Electra. So Ivy is thrilled to hear this news, and RJ has no idea about the manipulations or anything, and he's just thinking everything is just peachy keen. I cannot wait until everything is exposed. I can't wait for him to feel like an idiot. But since he is the spawn of Brooke and Ridge, I'm sure he will live in his delusion and think that he really is the prince and just, things will just work out. Ugh, whatever. So then, we also saw Electra and Dylan having an exchange yet again. So Dylan has literally received her first paycheck. Dylan came into this story originally as Hayes's art teacher or just his teacher. So Hayes is the son of Steffi and Finn. So that is how we were introduced to Dylan. Unfortunately, Dylan was wrapped up in Luna's shenanigans last year. She got bound and gagged, thrown into a closet, was there when Luna shot. Who did she shoot? That she shot Sheila and then she shot Liam, only for Liam to shoot her. That was a whole thing. So poor Dylan, she lost her job. She didn't come from a rich family, and so she's real life. Dylan is a real life person who had fallen on hard times. She lost her job. The economy's bad. She couldn't find another one. She ended up living in her car. So Will saw that and told Electra, and that's how she ended up staying. So whatever. So recently, Steffi, who loves Dylan because her son loves Dylan, gave Dylan the receptionist position at Forrester Creations, and Electra and Ivy were pissed. Like, that Forrester name didn't mean squat when Steffi wanted to do something, but that's a whole other video again. So whatever. So it's Dylan's first paycheck, and Electra was like, "Oh, you got your first paycheck? Oh, that's really great. No, like I'm really happy for you. But also, so that means you're gonna move out, right?" Now, Electra, girl, real people in the real world cannot move anywhere on one check. And she's a receptionist. How much are they paying at Forrester Creations? Because can I go apply? If you've made enough in your first paycheck as a receptionist to move out in LA, sign me up. Anyways, but Dylan was like, no, that's not going to be possible. I still need a deposit. Electra was like, you can figure it out. I'm thinking like, Electra, Moneybags, Forrester, are you going to give me the deposit? Do you want to buy me a place to live? I understand the situation with Will is tricky at this point, but y'all are together. You're dating someone else. You've kissed someone else, not once, not twice, 3 times. The fact that you're in this is because you, Electra, have not come clean. Well, partly why you are in this situation is that you also have not come clean about RJ kissing you the first time, because guess who saw it? Will. Now again, here we go. Let's just get into it. Here's my hot take. These people are super young adults. Clearly, they have just passed the drinking age, because the way they are handling these situations is blowing my elder millennial mind. If they would just talk to each other face to face and tell each other everything they have seen and done. Electra to Will, why didn't you respond to my letter? Then he would have been like, what letter? Then you would know somebody tampered with it. And Will to Electra, why were you kissing RJ? Then she would know that you saw what happened and that RJ was the one who initiated the kiss originally. But no, they can't do that. They have to keep talking around each other, and it's driving me insane. While they also, Electra moves on with RJ, Will is basically moving on with Dylan because he's still refusing to kick her out of the house, which is, Electra has a point, but they're just going about it the wrong way. So I feel like this is a a huge example of young love and the consequence of not being direct. So, yeah, Electra fully wanted Dylan out today. Oh, you got your paycheck in hand. It wasn't even a direct deposit. You got your paycheck in hand. Oh, you're moving out today. Dylan was like, and Electra is trying to guilt her. She's just like, you can figure it out. And if you respected me at all, if you respected this friendship at all, you should do the right thing. And if you want us to even have any chance of reconciling, your actions will show me if you're serious. Meaning, girl, move out. Well, at least, I will give Electra this. At least this time, she didn't tell her to leave her job because Dylan was like straight up, no. You know, I was living in my car. You know how hard it was for me. How can you ask me to do that? And I agree. It warms my heart to see some real life situations on a soap. So, I don't agree with what Dylan is doing. However, I do like the realness of her story. So, we end this episode with Will and Electra finally talking once again. And they're just like, oh, it's the same thing. I don't know how we got here. Everything was so perfect. But now you won't tell Dylan to leave. Will is still not saying what he saw. He's just alluding to it, whatever. So we leave it with Electra basically saying that this is your last opportunity to show me through your actions that you are going to put me above Dylan. And we all know Electra means Dylan got to go. Now, Will, if you want Electra this badly, you're not poor. Now, RJ pointed this out as well. He said Will could have paid for a hotel for this woman. Yes, you could have put a down payment down on something. There were other options, but you, for whatever reason, are refusing to put Dylan out. And that is causing a major problem. And Electra's not wrong for that. So that is basically where we left off on Monday's episode. I am curious to see what happens tomorrow, per usual. I really hope that Daphne exposes Ivy before the end of the week because I'm kind of tired of this going on. And I believe the preview did show Electra finally asking Ivy, what did you do with my letter? So I'm just going to assume that either Daphne or Dylan, who also knows what Ivy has done, but she has decided to keep quiet so she can get her little man, Will. That's going to blow up in Dylan's face as well. So, obviously, someone, I think either Daphne or Dylan, is going to expose the truth, and then it's going to be a big problem between Ivy and Electra, as it should be. And I assume Will and Electra will get back together, but you never know. Sometimes the bold and the beautiful likes to throw us a little curve, okay? It could be. Oh, well, after all of this, and because of your actions, and because you never wanted Dylan to leave, I am going to pursue RJ. So, who do you think Electra is going to end up with? And who do you think is going to expose this secret? Thanks for watching my first deep dive. I cannot wait to see you guys tomorrow. Like, comment, and subscribe so you don't miss what's next.